Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Carla from Planet Union, and I am here to speak with you, get to know you, meet people from all around the world. That's the purpose of this stream. And I'm looking forward to you coming and visiting with me and speaking. So, let me find the page so I can share it. So, please come and talk to me. I do not like talking to myself, and that's the one thing I don't like doing. I like talking to other people, I like being around other people, but talking to myself, nah. Because what fun is that? Talking to someone and getting to know them is what it's all about. Talking to you, talking to anyone who wants to speak. I am here for them. I am here to find out who you are and what you're about and what you bring to the planet, because we all bring something to the planet, whether we realize it or not. We bring, we all come with a gift for the planet. We all have something to share. And that includes you, it includes everyone in the world. And come, that's what it's all about. The more that we talk to each other and we get to know each other, the better the planet is going to be. So come and talk to me. Come and find out what I'm about. And I will share with you what I'm about. But I can only do it if you come and join me. And I'm here now to do that. I'll be here for about another hour my time or your time. Here it's 11, a little after 11 a.m. in the morning. In Pakistan, it's about 8 a.m., 8 p.m. And in Australia, I have no idea because their hours get me even more confused. But I really, really want to talk to someone. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to get to know the planet, your different cultures, your different ways of life. It's up to you. I can't do this for you. You're the only one who can do it. And let me see. I'm going to make a change in the settings very quickly. So come on and speak. And I trust you. I can trust that you'll have a good time. It'll be fun because you're speaking. You're getting to know someone new. You're getting to know yourself, in fact. And I am here. So, hey, here's my cat Krishna. Now, Krishna is a name of a god in India. So knowing that, I must know something a little about India. And I do. I've been in India. I've been in India twice. And it was a great experience. I would love to go back, and possibly I will in the future. I have friends from all over the world. I've been involved with Rehan Alawalla's group for many, many years now. And I'm very happy that I am. It's been fun and enjoyable. And please, please come. Because I want you here. And Yo Kevin is here. Yay! Hi, Yo Kevin.
Hello.
You almost scared me there. How are you?
I'm okay.
How's your trip going?
Good. Busy. A lot of people to see. But
how's your dad? Is he feeling better?
Yeah, thank God he's doing well. He's mostly, back to himself. Still a little bruised, but he's all right.
A little bruise is better than anything.
Yep. Thank God.
And so, how are you? Tell me how things are going.
Good. We are planning a short trip to Boston to see one of my husband's aunts and uncles. Spend a day with them. Trying to arrange. We had an arrangement to meet up with a bunch of cousins and things on Friday, but we got rained out. And some of the older relatives aren't willing to do anything indoors still. So we got rained out. We were supposed to meet up at a park. So
okay. Have you been traveling around while you're there? While you're here, or are you basically in New York?
Basically in New York. Like I said, going to Boston for a couple of days, but mostly staying put. Also, the truth is, just in terms of traveling and COVID and whatever, I prefer not to do too much, but we'll see.
Now, is it safe in New York? New York now, is it opening up, or?
It is opening up, and I think it's relatively safe. I think over half the population is vaccinated, and cases are relatively low. But there's the new variants, and caution is still probably a good idea. We'll see. And I don't know if you followed, but Israel is once again pushing off the date at which it will allow tourists in. because of this new variant. And we had been down to single-digit cases a day when we left, and now it's back in the hundreds.
Oh, is it because of the variant, or usually
Yeah.
I don't let people talk about it, but I'm going to let you talk.
Evidently, that seems to be, the main issue. So, so we'll see. And I mean, we have citizenship, so we should be able to get back. We'll see. They may institute a quarantine or whatever for returning travelers.
So you would just you would just go to your home and be quarantined. You don't need to stay anywhere.
Right. So we'll see. How about where you are?
Well, actually, they're opening up. For my birthday, I went out to a restaurant for the first time, but we ate outside. And we went early because the person who wanted to go out was, I hate to say it, I find it very hard that people are so scared. Now, I understand why, and I understand being careful, but if you're so scared of living, then you miss out. And there's like a fine line where being scared and moving forward.
Very hard balance to strike.
Yeah, it's not easy. But how are you doing this being in New York and also working?
Well, I'm a freelancer. You'd think still I'm semi on vacation. I have more time. I don't. I have less time, but I'm squeezing in what I can. And so far, nobody has yelled and screamed. So hopefully I'm okay. I did send in some work last week. I'm going to try to get some more done, but it's amazing how much time. Look, people always say, what do you do 6 weeks in the States? I'm like, you know what? We've got both sets of parents here. Ori's has a sister here with 9 children.
9 kids?
Yep. And I have yep. I've got a sister with 4 kids here. I've got a brother here who but a couple months ago underwent major surgery for colitis, and we've tried to see him. I've got 4 of my 6 total first cousins live in the tri-state area. Pretty much all of Ori's aunts, uncles, cousins all live in the tri-state area except the one in Boston. And my buddies from high school, my 2 best buddies, still live in Far Rockaway, a few minutes away. I saw each of them once. It's not like I'm hanging out, whatever. It's just busy,
How long have you been here?
4 weeks. We've got 2 more.
You've been here 4 weeks with your best friend, and you haven't seen them more than once.
No. We are staying primarily with our parents.
Right.
But yes, I saw my, good buddy from school once. Maybe I'll manage a second time. Our siblings, we've seen a little bit more. Cousins, I'm still working on. One batch of cousins came last week to my parents. Like I said, we're trying to work out something with Ori's cousins for one day. We saw his cousin on the other side, a couple, also last week or 2 ago. It's just, that's it. Everybody is, here. So we're working on that.
But it's hard to get under the conditions that are going on in the world and also in New York. It's really hard for people to feel comfort. Yeah, I'd like to see you, but.
Yeah, well, Now I think there doesn't seem to be too much hesitation. Like I said, one of the older relatives is not willing to meet indoors yet, but my cousins did come, and the truth is most of them had COVID already. So I think, they weren't too worried. And if you're driving, it's not so bad. We're going to take public transportation to Boston. So it's a little more nerve-wracking, but we'll mask up, and we are vaccinated, and we'll, we hope that's good enough.
Now, are you going by train or bus?
We're going by bus. Well, train and bus, because the bus leaves from New York City, but we've got to get to New York City. So, train and bus. And
aren't you in? Oh, you're not in the city.
We're in the suburbs.
Which suburbs are you in?
So my parents live in Far Rockaway, which is part of both Queens and Long Island. And my in-laws live in West Hempstead, which is Nassau and Long Island.
So you're not actually in Brooklyn?
No, not at all.
Now, is my ignorance here, is Brooklyn still very Jewish and Hasidic?
Yeah, I mean, not all of it, but there are areas that are, yes.
Now, are you on? I'm fascinated by the Hasidic Jews. Are you a Hasidic Jew or
no? No, that's one of the groups I would say I know the least about. I don't really have any connections there much, and it's not really something I'm, I know very basic stuff, but I don't know it from the inside at all. So.
I would love to learn more about that. However, I know that I myself could not be on that end at all. I don't think.
I read a really good sociologist who wrote about the Hasidic world. I don't remember the name of the book or whatever, but I will try to track it down. I can send you a couple of suggested reading things about the community.
Yeah, it's always. I'm sorry, Hoang. I'm not ignoring you at all. I'm feeling very. But what I've always been kind of fascinated by that, and also fascinated by the Orthodox way of life, because it's something that I have never experienced, and I just couldn't imagine living with the strict restrictions. But maybe it really isn't that strict, or it's how you grew up. So I'm curious about it.
Right. Well, so at some point, Orthodoxy I can discuss, but Hasidut is a subgroup that I'm less familiar with. I said there's.
Let Hoang introduce herself, and then I'd like to talk to you a little about Orthodoxy, not as a debate, but as knowledge, because I'm sure there are many people who may either watch this now or watch this at a later date and say, oh, I learned something from this. Hoang, say hello. You're not being ignored. We just got on a topic I am fascinated by. Hoang, are you there? Hoang, unmute. You're unmuted, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carla. And lady, I don't know how to pronounce the name properly. I just know Cohen, right? Yeah, thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk. My name is Huong. I'm from Vietnam, and I am a teacher in a government university. I have been teaching economics, marketing, and doing international business for more than 16 years. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here and living and working in a remote and mountainous area to support my students and people around me. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Huang. Thank you for coming. You can ask questions too. Let me just get it started because this is something we need to be a little careful on, but not very. Yocheved, let's get back to orthodoxy. Maybe explain how you do Shabbat, and there are differences, because I always went to a synagogue where men and women sat together, and I know that's different in an Orthodox ceremony, synagogue. So what's happening with me in a synagogue? So give us some enlightenment here.
Who may know. So first of all, Jewish holidays, including the Sabbath, start the night before when the sun goes down. They go from sundown to sundown, roughly speaking. So Shabbat starts Friday night, and before it begins, we light candles to usher in the holiday. Traditionally, 2 candles. Many people have accustomed to add a candle for every child who's born. So if someone has 3 children, they're likely to light 5 candles. Originally, the candles were largely to make sure people had light and wouldn't be tripping over things and getting all agitated and angry on Shabbat. Shabbat is largely is seen to reflect the day of rest that God takes after creating the universe, as you can read about in the Bible in the book of Genesis. God rested, and we rest as well. But a lot of people say, somebody just said this to me the other day when I was mentioning that one of the things I don't like about the smartphones and technology, even though I have one and it does great things, I'm not opposed, but you can never get like a moment of silence anymore, anywhere that you are. Things are always dinging and ringing and a notification and a beep, a hoot. It's like jangly already. And this person who also celebrates the Sabbath said to me, yep, people don't appreciate. They think, oh, on Shabbat, you can't do this, you can't do that. But she's like, but you get a break. The Orthodox Jews don't use electricity on Shabbat. They don't use the computers. They turn off the phones. You don't answer your phone. And one of the, scholars calls it an island in time. You're sort of carving out sacred time there. Generally speaking, it's also very family oriented. We don't drive on Shabbat. We don't cook. We don't use money. We don't go shopping. So it's much more focused on the people around you, generally speaking. And this is true actually even among many traditional Jews, even if they don't follow all of the restrictions and things, to have a Friday night dinner as a family. That's pretty popular. People will go to services. Orthodox Jews in general have a regular prayer ritual, particularly the men are obligated to daven, to pray 3 times a day. There's discussion about women and what their obligations are or aren't, but a lot of people, at least in the morning on Saturday, Shabbat morning, will attend services, and they're longer than many other religions and places, even though they're not that long. But I would say in America, probably the average is about 3 hours. And the services include, generally speaking, there's set prayers. There's prayer books that tell you exactly what to pray. Often a rabbi will give some kind of a sermon. usually relatively brief. And then there's a reading from a Bible reading from the Torah, and more prayers. And then people go home and have lunch together, again, like a family meal. And it's a time off. Some people will tell you that it gives you time to reconnect with yourself, with God, with other people. It's a bit of a breather. So yeah, I think I've said my piece here. I just have to go for 1 second to put in eye drops. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, hold on. Have you ever experienced Shabbat or anything like that? Are you familiar with the Jewish religion and the way of life at all?
Oh, I'm sorry, Carla. No, here in Vietnam, we are more than 80% non-religion, so I never experienced about that kind of religions. I'm sorry.
You don't have a religion in Vietnam?
I mean, more than 80% we are non-religion, so I belong to 80% that. Actually, people usually think that Vietnamese people, they are Buddhist or they go for Buddhism, but it's not really, I think.
I always thought you guys did. That's interesting. So you must have learned something by listening to Yocheved speak today. Do you have any questions for her?
Yes, I have. First of all, I would like to ask you how to pronounce the name Yocheved, right? Oh, thank you. Can you say it again, please?
Yocheved.
Yocheved. Okay.
Very good. Yeah, Americans can't pronounce it at all, as a rule. So, I mean, it's a Hebrew name. It's a biblical name.
And what does it mean, Yocheved?
I think I've been told that it's the two components are Yah and Kavod, which is God and respect, meaning it means respect God. It makes sense. I've not actually looked it up, and Yocheved is the mother of Moses.
Okay, let me ask you. You grew up in an Orthodox background. You went to Hebrew school. I'm 99% sure. I'd be surprised if you didn't. And no one ever gave you the translation of Yocheved? I'm
saying that's, as far as I know, that's a translation. But again, it's also a biblical name, so it's a historical, character, figure, whatever.
We're on the same page now. When you said that, I was like, wow. Okay, Huang, do you have a question?
Yes, so let me practice to pronounce the name first. Yocheved, right?
Very good. Pretty good.
Yes, I'm so happy to meet you. This time is the second time. Yeah, I met you.
Yeah,
yes, the first time, very
met
short
on the
time
show before.
Yeah, but very short time, so I was not able to understand and know much about you. About your profession, your hobbies, or something you are interested in life. Thank you.
Right. Well, so I work freelance as a Hebrew to English translator. So I live in Israel. Right now I'm visiting in New York, but I live in Israel. And so I work in Hebrew to English translation. A lot of what I translate is Judaica. Sometimes I get a little bit of social sciences as well. I'd actually like to get more of that, but I get whatever comes my way, really. In terms of hobbies, I guess I'm a big reader. I like, I read a lot of mysteries. I tend to like memoirs, like people's stories and journeys. And I like sociology and anthropology. I like, reading about other cultures and, other groups and language, culture, etc. And we actually, I don't know if I'd mentioned this, I might have, when you could still travel, we actually spent a couple of weeks in Japan, which for us was very exotic. From Vietnam, it's maybe a little less so. But that was a big trip and a lot of planning, and but we really kind of wanted to see a different part of the world, and it involves extra planning if you keep kosher, which we do, and if you're Sabbath observant, which we are. So it was a lot of work going into the trip, but we really enjoyed that. And I also am something of a cook. I like to, not huge, but it's, something I enjoy somewhat. I'm a bit of a foodie. I like going to different restaurants and, seeing what trying out different things. And I also do some matchmaking. I try to fix up people. I work on a website that's called Soyutsana. It's a volunteer thing, but singles upload their profiles, and the matchmakers try to fix people up, basically blind dates largely. And so I do that. I've been doing that for years, and yeah, I think that's a summary of what's involved.
Yep. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so but I have heard something about Brooklyn in New York. So recently I have joined that group with librarians. They are doing volunteering job, very great job, So some English English teacher from the US, they are teaching for some member from different countries. They have 2 times a week. Yeah, and now I got to know that you are also doing volunteer job. But I don't know about Brooklyn. So what is that place relate to you?
Not much about Brooklyn either. I mean, it's not very far, but I've never lived there. I've been there a bit. Very city, very concrete, like not a lot of greenery, but it's about, let's say, to get to Brooklyn from where my parents live is like a 45-minute hour drive. It's not, it's close by American standards, but it's not next door. I can't just like walk over or, just bop around there. So I'm not sure I can really help that much about that. But this is a librarians group, you said?
Yes, librarians. But they are helping a lot of people. English learner as well. But hopefully one day we can connect with them. Yeah, to collaborate with some projects or some programs together. I think that's good. Unmute yourself, Kala.
What was that?
When someone is in StreamYard, because of how it's set up, when someone is talking, you need to mute yourself. And when you're talking, that other person needs to mute yourself, unless it's only 2 people talking. And I forgot to tell you, so I've been muting you when she finishes and beginning it again when she, So anyway, you are unmuted now. You can talk.
Okay. Well, what are some of your hobbies? You said you're a professor, you teach economics, but when you're not teaching, what do you like to do?
Thank you so much. That's a very interesting question to understand myself. Yeah, my profession is a teacher. Yeah, I have been teaching for more than 16 years. But apart from teaching, I usually supporting people with my groups. I mean, right now I am one of the admin of 7 or 9, 8 groups. Yeah, so approximately around 1,000 members. So for the Zoom meeting every single day from Monday to Saturday, around 50 to 60 members, I mean participants. They are very excited and eager to study English. They come from different levels, from beginner to very advanced. So that's why I'm doing that for every single day. And also we have 4 sessions with small kids from different countries like Colombia, India, Iran, and Pakistan. Yes, so I'm happy with that kind of volunteering job. Yes, thank you.
Okay, Kevin, let's get back to you. As in an Orthodox synagogue is different than, well, sort of like a mosque in a way, because the mosque separates the women and the men. So can you explain why the separation is done in an Orthodox synagogue?
Yeah, I think so. So the basic idea really is that the genders, I think, distract each other if they're together. And the idea when you are in synagogue is that you are supposed to be focused on your relationship with God and not on flirting with the cute guy who's sitting nearby. So I think that's the primary reason behind it. Having said that, there are more efforts being made, and depending where you are, to try to maximize the women's experience in synagogue too, since there's often a feeling, particularly if things aren't structured well, that the women are relegated to the back of the room, even if it's not literal. In our synagogue in Israel, there's actually, so it's not only that men and women are separate, but there's also some kind of barrier that is used to, I guess, make it clear. So in our synagogue, there's one-way glass at the top of that, so that the women can see the men, and the men can't really see the women, with the traditional assumption that some people object to nowadays, but I think actually is still correct, that men are more distractible with the men will be more distracted by seeing the women than women for the men. So the rules kind of reflect that. And so it's okay for the women to see the men, but often just practically they don't. So now there's a lot more people are putting in more time and effort to structure and design things that will be as inclusive as possible within the framework that is separate. So
that's fascinating. Rayhan's daughter is having her nikah today, which is the ceremony of the contract that they sign before they get married. They're not getting married for a while. And I said, oh, do you go? I was talking to her about it. And I said, do you go to the mosque for the nikah? And she said, no, women are not going to the mosque now because of COVID. But the men are going. And she said it's only like a 5-minute signing, which I think is the same in our religion. I'm Jewish, which you know. And it's done. And I'm wondering, okay, but don't you go and participate? Oh, we have a dinner afterwards. And then that's it. So when I'm not married, so I don't know. How long is the signing of the ketubah, and how is that's not actually done during the actual ceremony, correct?
Usually the ketubah is signed at the wedding before the chuppah, before the actual canopy or whatever. But it's usually nowadays anyway. It is done at the wedding. It's not done beforehand, and it takes a few minutes. It's actually a type of contract. So, but everybody, the most of it is standardized. There's a couple of things that, first of all, obviously the names and the dates have to be specific to the event, but the actual basic text is standard. So it's a few minutes, but it's interesting. I don't know if the comparisons. I'm just thinking now, like, I guess you don't see in the pictures, do Muslim women have a prayer obligation at all? Or is it only the men? I know that there's a 5 times a day prayer, but maybe it's only men. I don't know. I just don't know. Do Muslim women have a prayer obligation? I think not, but I don't know.
Actually, it's the same as it is for the men. It's 5 times a day. Not all men do I know a little because of my background in the past 4 years. They're supposed to pray 5 times a day. This particular daughter, I remember we were in the car and I was driving around with her in DC, and I asked her, do you pray 5 times? And she said, me? No. And then there's another woman who I work with very closely who prays 5 times a day. And not all the men pray 5 times a day either. It's like us in a way, the more Orthodox, they pray, and the less Orthodox don't.
Right, but I would just say, even among the Orthodox, do the women have an obligation to pray? In circles where the men do pray 5 times a day, do the women also need to? I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I do know that Momina's family or the grandparents are much more religious than the parents. So I can't really answer that question.
Right.
I wouldn't be answering it correctly, but I think it's dependent on how they decide they want to progress with the religion. I know one of her brothers is a hafiz and has studied the Quran and can recite it from back beginning to end. But I know I'm pretty sure that the other 2 brothers haven't done that. I can't say for sure. I know Dad doesn't. I'm pretty sure in saying that probably there are people in the family who don't recite it in the same way as the older son. But, again, don't quote me on this because I really don't know for sure.
Okay.
It's not required. Halong, do you have any questions? Any more questions?
Yes, thank you. I have a lot of questions. Let's start with your occupation. So you said that you are like a translator, right? So how many countries have you been to?
Well, in terms of translating, doesn't require any travel. In terms of just, liking, again, culture, social, whatever. So we try to travel some, there's, of course, both financial constraints and job constraints, but we have been, so I was, I'm American born. When I lived in the States, we did go to Canada at some point. So we can, we visited Montreal and Toronto, just on vacations. We did not, my mother is afraid to fly. So we only did driving vacation. So as a kid, I didn't go anywhere that required flying. We did drive through a lot of the United States. We drove coast to coast. So we went from New York to California one summer. Then later on, so I have been to Italy, I've been to England, been to Scotland, been to Prague, been to Japan. And our other big trip was we took a cruise to Alaska a few years ago. Which doesn't really count as leaving the United States, but it's a little different from what most people think of. I've actually been reading a mystery series now that's set in Alaska with the main character being a native there, which is interesting to me, that's all. Yeah, and we'd like, when you can travel again and it's not such a headache and, difficult, etc. So what I'd really like to go to the Galapagos, actually. We'll see if that happens. That's one thing on my list, and possibly Switzerland, which is just supposed to be really pretty and interesting. How about you? How much traveling have you managed?
For my life, I just traveled to India. I got Fulbright scholarship to study in India. So I got a chance to travel to India 2 times. Yeah, the first time in 2018 and the second time in 2020. I got back home on time on March 2020 before Indian lockdown. Yes. By the way, have you translated any English books?
Do you mean translated books into English? What do you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
How many books have you finished to translate?
That's an interesting question. At least 5 or 6. I've also done some editing and other related works and articles and papers and things like that, shorter things. But yeah, I'd say in the vicinity of a half a dozen books, maybe more. The truth is I am translating a series of books. So that could keep me busy for a very long time. The author keeps on putting out new books. So whenever I finish something, there's already like another book to go. And it's a set that's, multi-volume. So as long as they stay solvent, I'm in good shape. I've gotten very lucky with that, actually. So, yeah. That's it.
Kevin, you can also ask questions of Huong because, again, both of, we're not from Vietnam. We don't know much about Vietnam. So feel free to go both ways here.
Have you traveled locally to the other countries in your neck of the woods? like to?
Oh, actually, unfortunately, not yet. I hope, I hope in the future I will travel the whole of my country. Even northern parts are not yet finished. All the places and southern parts I never been there, and the central part in Vietnam also very beautiful. But the first time I went to India and I travel so many like a province and states like Jaipur. I got surprised because that's a big city and big like a manufacturer to produce a lot of jewelry, diamond to export to a lot of countries all around the world. So they they are getting gaining foreign currency. So to make the country become big. Yep.
How many people live in Vietnam? How big is Vietnam? Well, those are two different questions, really, but
Yes, in terms of the population in Vietnam, we have a 96 to 95, 97 million people here. Yes, comparing to India, like India has 14 times uh, to compare the population with Vietnam. And here but in terms of GDP per capita, we have around 2,200 US dollars per year. And that's kind of, we are in developing countries. Yeah, I can say that during this situation, we are handling a little bit successfully about the pandemic, about the economic growth with like a positive increase with more than 2.5% GDP increase. So that's a great signal and great news, right? And apart from that, very lucky and happy for us. We have a successful agreement. I mean, EVFTA. Have you heard about that contract or agreement? European Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. So that's a great chance for us to export our fruits, agricultural products to European countries. That's very big and huge market and great chance for us, yeah, to improve our standard of living, especially for farmers in my countries.
have you ever visited China or Cambodia or?
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, I will make plan to meet several friends. I have a lot of friends and students from Laos and Cambodia and Thailand as well.
Huang, Huang, are
Yes.
most of your students from South Asia or are they from all over the world?
They are from several countries like Thailand. We have Laos, Cambodia, Korean. Yeah, we have several countries.
And how long have you been doing this volunteer work?
Actually, in my university, we have several courses like programs to exchange students. A lot of students from China, they come to my university to study like 3 months, 6 months, and a year. But for Lao students, they study here for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, some different courses and different programs. Yep, when different times.
Okay, you said you were doing volunteer work on Zoom, talking to people all around the world. Are they mostly from South Asia or are they from Europe and the United States or wherever?
Yes. They are from different countries, not only in Asia. Yeah, I think African, yes, they have like a Congo or Venezuela. I think not from Asia, right? Yep. Brazil, Colombia, a lot of countries. I'm not able to remember all the whole country, but amazing conference to meet them, to like exchange ideas and talks and experience. Amazing. Yep.
What inspired you to do this volunteer work?
That's so interesting reasons for me. First of all, because of meeting you with the first time, I was very surprised because you are maintaining your job with more than 3 years. You are doing like a volunteering to meet people around the world. And I got a chance to join the group with that man from Chicago. He's the founder of that group, and he also was doing that kind of job to have a Zoom meeting every single day. I mean, 30 days per month. Yes, so for 3 months, constantly, non-stop working, So I got a chance to join his group. And after that, he handed over his task to us. Like we had 3 hosts and co-hosts to take turn. Like a week, we had 2 days, 3 days a week to take turn. Yeah, to do that kind of job. So for more than a year right now, we have been doing that to meet people from that. We keep improving day by day. Yep. Thank you. Carla, unmute yourself.
Hello Hyung,
Carla,
hello
unmute
Chanda ma'am.
yourself.
Rocky, can you please introduce yourself so I know who you are? And can you put on your camera, please?
Okay ma'am, thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. This is Rocky Tikku. I am from India. Currently, I am using my father's phone, so my father's photo was displaying here. Will displaying here right now on your screen, on your phone, or on your display screen. So I was connected with Miss Hyung before a year ago, and
Excuse me, Rocky. Rocky, can you do me a favor and put on your camera so we can see you? See you, not your dad.
okay, okay.
Now,
Am I visible now?
Rocky, do you have light so we could see your face a little better?
Actually, here is no electricity now.
Oh, okay. No problem. Introduce yourself, please.
And I was connected with Miss Young before a year ago, and with one of their teacher is from Mexico named William sir. So he was made a WhatsApp group, and on a regular basis we do a Zoom chat on daily basis.
Huang, could you please connect me with Rocky on Messenger? Rocky, are you also on Zoom on Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah, am I using Facebook?
Good. Rocky, I want you to connect with me on Facebook. I asked Huang to make a group. I'd like you to keep your camera on, please.
Okay, ma'am. I will also connect you there on Facebook. Okay, Miss Song will support me to connect with you on Facebook. She will provide me your ID, your page ID, or your Facebook profile ID to connect with you. I will send you a friend request. If you are made a page, already created a page, then I will follow you there on Facebook. It is more easier if you are on Facebook, because if I am connected with your Facebook, I will I will automatically provide a notification to connect with you on, or to connect with your live session.
I am going to ask Hulong to make a messenger group with you, me, and her, and we'll connect that way. That will be the best thing to do. Okay? But what I'd like to know is how long
Okay.
have you been doing these English groups on Zoom?
Actually, ma'am, there is a worse network problem, so I am not audible. You are not audible properly.
Let me ask again. How long have you been making these Facebook groups on live in English?
Actual, actually, I was created my Facebook account in 2014. It was 8 years ago. I was connect with Miss Young before a year, and I tried to search many messenger or many English connect with there to improve myself.
That's very good. In fact, Huang, I'd like him to come to the English show too. In any case, we've come to the end of the show, but I hope you will come and talk to me again, Rocky. Will you?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Actually, here's a weather problem today due to network error. Oh, sorry, due to weather error, due to climate error, electricity is not coming today. So, in our next session, I will come on a video chat, on a proper video chat. Okay, you can show me properly.
It's okay. I can see you well enough now. Huang will create a group with you. She already did, in fact, with you, me, and her, and I will respond. But I'm
Okay,
very
ma'am.
happy to meet you. Okay. Believe it or
Yeah,
not,
this is also.
say that
Yeah,
again.
Rocky is also like
Rocky, we
yeah, for
cannot
me
hear
was it was
Rocky.
also a life.
Rocky, we cannot hear you
Am I
well right.
audible?
Okay, we cannot hear Rocky very well, but I will be talking to him later. I want to thank everyone who watched. I especially want to thank you, Kevin and Huang, for coming and speaking with me. And we are going to wave goodbye now, and we'll see
Bye.
you again later.
Thank you
Bye,
so much. Bye,
everyone. Have a good day.
everyone. Thank you.